Hello again, welcome to another edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Paul Schrimpf together again with Eric Sfiligoj.
At least for this week.
At least for this week. Wait, are you going somewhere next week?
I'm on vacation, so.
Aww.
By yourself, Paul, or have another guest speaker?
I'll bring the camera by on Wednesday. We can shoot it from your house.
I'm going to be at my house.
Where are you going?
Taking my son has spring break, and I'm taking him to a water park in Sandusky, Ohio, for the audience that cares.
Where'd you get the money to do that?
Huh?
Where'd you get the money to do that?
I don't have to pay speakers.
And I do. So, talking about speakers, wow, that went in a weird place. Okay, so in the end of June 26th, 28th, we're having a PrecisionAg Accelerator conference. We're putting together kind of the last of the speakers, and one of the folks that we got is Mike Boehlje, who was formerly with Purdue for a number of decades. Doing business management sessions, business management studies, and so forth. He's going to join us for the Precision Profit section, the middle day of the 3-day event, and he's going to moderate the whole thing. We're going to bring in some case studies. It's going to be really great from the standpoint of trying to kind of bring different perspectives on precision profitability. He's all numbers guy, but he's also a personnel guy in terms of understanding how these things work within a retail structure. They got a number of resources at his disposal through Purdue, the large producer survey, and other information he's going to bring to bear that will really, I think, add a lot of deeper context to the whole precision profitability question. So we're really excited about that. There'll be more information this week, this coming week on the agenda. In fact, it should be online right now at PrecisionAgAccelerator.com if you'd like to take a look at it. We've extended our deadline to, it's going to be in late April, like third week of April for the first deadline. We also have some discounts for multiple signups from individual organizations. So it's really going to be, I think, a terrific event, really exciting. So glad to welcome Mike, and again, we've got some of the other things settled out too. So I think we're ready to hit the ground running.
Sounds like it'll be great.
Yeah, it will be. So what you got cooking?
What do I got cooking? Well, under the heading of current events, found out this week that Monsanto is actually starting up a new company. They're going to be funding it for the next 5 years to the tune of $100 million. And their Vice President of Global Biotechnology, Tom Adams, will be leaving Monsanto to head up this new company as the CEO. It's called Pairwise Plants. And Paul, the thing that's unique about this company is what it's going to be doing is gene editing, not gene modification, as the company is quick to point out. Gene editing will, instead of involving introducing a foreign gene into a plant, gene editing will involve basically looking at a gene that's already there and either turning it on or enhancing it or turning it off, which will, in theory, improve crop yields and maybe seed production, maybe reduce pesticides as well. But Monsanto is looking at the major crops for this technology to go forward: corn, soybean, wheat, cotton, and canola. And basically, since the public doesn't seem overly thrilled with the GMOs, this gene editing process doesn't really introduce anything foreign into the plant or different into the plant. It's actually just changing what's already there. So it hopefully will have a little more of an acceptance with the consumers in theory.
Yeah, and it'll be important to kind of couch the what this technology actually is and does. I mean, GMOs even. People had a lot of misconceptions about it, and it wasn't as messy as it was made out to be, yet still got thrown in with technology that maybe wasn't fully understood when it really very much was. But certainly the idea of editing, and it's not just terminology, it really is about being very precise about what we're doing, as opposed to the GMO process, which altered a number of plants, and then you had to propagate and really to understand what was happening in each plant and selecting out the best one. So this is definitely certainly more precise and calculated way of developing these traits that are most desirable.
Yeah, so like I said, this company will be up and running as of April 1, so look for more news there. The only other thing we have to share, Paul, this week is we found out there's been some management changes at Case IH. Our friend Jim Walker has retired effective this week, and he'll be replaced by Scott Harris, who has been heading up Case's construction unit. So good job, Jim. Hope you enjoy retirement. And Scott, welcome aboard. We'll look forward to working with you here in the future.
Absolutely. Just one more thing to throw out back in Monsanto and Bayer and the whole merger, which you didn't bring up a merger topic, which I'm highly disappointed in. It's always something.
Yes.
But yeah, I had a call from a consultant in New York talking about the EU's demand about or statement about data and maybe needing one of the companies needing to possibly slough off or sell off or change the way they share data, or again, or even push part of their data initiative off between one of the two companies, and is asking me what I thought about that in terms of the United States and would that be a big deal. I don't think it's going to be as big a deal here. It's possible. I know that the government has asked for possibly more concessions, and we don't really know exactly what those are. But to me, I think a lot of this is still pretty uncertain. I'm not sure. I don't know what you think, but I'm not sure I see really there being a big conflict from that standpoint, or a big problem with having those two systems put together.
Yeah, I imagine in the EU that there's more of a desire to basically share across the cultures, across the countries, and data being a natural way to do that. Here in the United States, though, I think the Justice Department is probably not going. I mean, they may look at that as the data as part of what they're looking at, but I suspect that their objections to the Bayer Monsanto deal will be probably requiring one or both of the companies to divest more physical assets, not necessarily the data set.
And the one discussion that, when you really get down to it with the folks that are on the ground managing the data, and everyone is very concerned about the Bayer Monsanto deal on the ground. I mean,
Sure.
you talk to farmers, you talk to consultants and service providers, and you get a lot of sense of that they don't know what to expect. But one individual that I talked to was saying, will we get to a point where good enough is good enough, where you can put together an algorithm that provides data that gets you within a tolerance of being accurate, and that becomes good enough for your average grower, and is that kind of where we're headed? Is if companies are coming together and bringing large amounts of data together, if we can aggregate enough, is that good enough algorithm going to be satisfactory for most growers to move forward? I mean, considering how low the adoption is on the grower side, and maybe an acceptance of an algorithm or technology that's maybe not perfect, or not necessarily striving for perfection, but striving to be accurate a high percentage of the time, might be something that you can plug in and supplant some of what the specialists and crop consultants are doing. I don't know.
No, I was going to say, now our viewers now know what Paul's topic will be for his next column in the magazine. Look for it in the May issue of Crop Life, I think.
Will good enough be good enough? You'll be tired of hearing the words good enough, I think, by the time I'm done. But it's an interesting thing, because it gets to the future of where things are going on technology. Sure. So it's something it's something I've been thinking about for a long time, but it's really now we're seeing a manifestation of it possibly down the road.
And maybe at Accelerator too.
Sorry for the very heavy topic to close this thing. Anyway, look forward to having your responses. Send me an email if you think I'm full of hoo-ha or would like to support me. Hey, I'm all about that too. So that's it for this edition of Crop Life Retail Week. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you next week.